You'd think picking out litter for your cat would be simple, right? Walk into the pet store, grab the one with the prettiest packaging or the strongest scent, and you're done. Easy. But actually, no, it's not that simple. In fact, a lot of cat owners end up making choices that seem totally reasonable to a human, but feel absolutely awful to the sensitive, often picky little creature they live with. And all of that can turn into one big, smelly problem. You know the scene. You've just gotten home after a long day. Maybe you're imagining some quiet time, slipping off your shoes, maybe a glass of something cold in your hand, and then, boom. You walk in and are greeted not by your peaceful oasis, but by a smell so strong it practically smacks you in the face. The air is thick with that unmistakable scent of cat poop. It's not exactly the welcome home vibe anyone dreams of. But hey, you love your cat. This is just part of the deal, right? So you start searching for solutions. And right on cue, the internet, magical, helpful, well-meaning as ever, throws a targeted ad your way. Scented cat litter. Aha! That's it. You can practically see the imaginary light bulb over your head. If the litter smells like lavender or citrus, it'll cover up the nasty stuff. Problem solved. You feel like a genius. But here's the catch. Your cat doesn't think so. What smells pleasantly floral to you can be an absolute sensory nightmare. For them, their noses are way more powerful than yours, nearly 14 times more sensitive, in fact. So that gentle whiff of perfume to you is like walking into a wall of artificial fragrance for them. It can be disorienting, uncomfortable, even downright painful. Some cats get so overwhelmed by the smell that they start avoiding the litter box entirely. And when that happens, they'll start searching for a new bathroom, the rug, a pile of laundry, your bathtub, anywhere but the place that now reeks like a perfumery. And it's not just about smell. Some of the chemicals used in these scented litters can cause allergic reactions or trigger respiratory issues. If your cat already has asthma or is sensitive to airborne particles, that added fragrance can make things worse. One red flag to watch for is sneezing when they're near the box. That's often the first sign that the scent is too much for them. The solution? Go unscented. Always. Trust the experts on this one. Yes, there are actual cat litter experts, and they'll tell you the same thing. Fortunately, unscented doesn't have to mean smelly. Some litters are formulated with natural odor-absorbing ingredients like activated charcoal or specific clumping clays that help trap odors without relying on fake flowers and fruit. Speaking of clumping, that brings us to another big topic. Clumping litters are super popular, and with good reason. They make cleanup a whole lot easier. No one's lining up to spend extra time scooping a litter box, right? But like everything else, there's a flip side. Many clumping litters are made using sodium bentonite, a clay that expands when wet. It helps form those neat little clumps that are easy to scoop. But if ingested, this same ingredient can swell inside the digestive tract, causing dangerous blockages. Now, you might be thinking, who's eating litter? Surely no cat would actually eat this stuff. But you'd be surprised. Kittens, especially, are curious little things, and sometimes they explore the world mouth first. In those early weeks, it's not uncommon for them to nibble on litter just to see what it is. And in that case, unfortunately, yes, curiosity could get them into real trouble. There's another issue with sodium bentonite. It's dusty, and not in a casual, wipe-it-off-the-counter kind of way. Some of the cheaper clumping litters made with this material can throw up a thick cloud of dust every time you pour it into the tray. That dust contains tiny silica particles that can float in the air and get inhaled. Over time, consistent exposure to that can contribute to respiratory problems in cats and even in you. If you notice your cat coughing, sneezing, or if the area around the litter box is constantly coated in a fine gray film, that's a clue. And even if it doesn't cause health issues, it's a mess. It settles on furniture, on your floors, even on your cat's fur. No one needs more cleaning in their life. So if you want to stick with a clay-based clumping litter for its odor control, and many people do, just go for the high-end options that are low dust. You might pay a bit more up front, but it saves headaches later. Now let's talk about texture. This is something a lot of people overlook because, well, we're not the ones walking through it barefoot. But cats are, and they're picky about what's under their paws. Many litters are made from large crystals or hard pellets. To a human, that might seem fine, but to a cat, it can feel rough or even painful, especially older cats or ones with arthritis or sensitive paw pads. Imagine walking barefoot across a gravel path. Not fun, right? That's what some litters feel like to them. And when that's the experience every time they go to the bathroom, they'll eventually decide it's not worth it. They'll stop using the box, or they'll hold it in, which can lead to other health problems like urinary tract infections or constipation. Cats have an instinctive preference for soft, fine-grained litter that mimics the texture of natural soil or sand. That's what they'd dig into if they were living outside. They want to be able to dig easily, cover their waist, and move around without discomfort. And the closer your litter gets to that natural feel, the more comfortable they'll be. That's why many cats do well with litters made from natural clay, corn, or even coconut husks. These materials are soft, easy to dig through, and generally more pleasant on sensitive paws. Even better, many of them are biodegradable, which is a nice bonus for the planet. But before you go running out to buy the latest eco-friendly, soft-textured, unscented miracle litter, there's more. Clay-based litters, especially the budget versions, still have that pesky dust problem. It's not just unpleasant, it can actually affect your cat's health. That fine powder can cloud up during use and be inhaled repeatedly. For cats with asthma or any respiratory condition, this is a serious concern. Even if your cat's breathing seems fine now, years of exposure to those particles can take a toll. That's why more and more people are moving toward plant-based alternatives like corn, wheat, recycled paper, or wood pellets. These options tend to be naturally low dust, provide solid odor control, and are usually softer on the paws. Now, it may seem like this is all just a long list of what not to do. No fragrances, no crystals, no dusty clay, no rough textures. It sounds like cats hate everything. But in reality, what they're telling us is very clear. They don't need bells and whistles. They just want litter that feels familiar, is soft, enough to dig into, doesn't smell like an industrial air freshener, and won't throw up a cloud of dust every time they use it. That's not being picky. That's being smart. These are survival instincts. They want to stay clean, stay safe, and not get sick. And beyond the litter itself, where you put the litter box matters. Cats need privacy. They don't want to do their business in the middle of a busy hallway or next to the loud washing machine. Quiet, low-traffic areas are best. Keep the box clean. Scoop it at least once a day and change the litter completely every week. A dirty box is the fastest way to make a cat find a new bathroom, and it won't be one you like. Also, consider an uncovered litter box. While enclosed ones might look nicer to us, some cats feel trapped or anxious in them, especially if they've had a bad experience. Open designs give them a better sense of security and control. Ultimately, the right litter isn't about what's cheapest, or smells the strongest, or has the most 5-star reviews. It's about understanding your cat's needs, what feels right under their paws, what smells acceptable to their sensitive noses, and what makes them feel safe when they're most vulnerable. Getting that right won't just keep your home cleaner and your air fresher. It'll keep your cat happier, healthier, and far less likely to surprise you with a new bathroom location. And if they do bite you along the way, don't worry. It's not always because they're mad, but that's a story for another day.